Hi guys and gals. I know another Zegler Snow White mockery, but wait, there is more to this one. Gal Gadot finally breaks her silence on the matter, and you won't believe it, but Rachel Zegler is actually begging people to watch the movie now. You know, in her own condescending and narcissistic way, but hey, it's funny, right? Okay, let's get straight to the juicy bits first. Let's hear what Gal Gadot had to say. We will get to Zegler, but she can wait, am I right? Listen to this.
Now, Gal delivered the following. The most important thing when you are working on a film is teamwork, and when you have characters like the Evil Queen and Snow White, you expect teamwork to play a role in the creative process when you are trying to put something special together. We didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks that we had to deal with during this entire process, and I just found that to be very exhausting. When you are acting, you expect your co-stars and the creatives to go all the way and to support each other, and we just didn't meet those expectations. And I just felt it was not a streamlined process. I think this industry can learn a thing or two based on why our film didn't really meet expectations with the fans. There was an obvious disconnect there, and that's all on the corporate ladder, something that is out of my control. But you know, you try new things, and I just don't think it worked for me. You need a streamlined process with teamwork, with your proper co-stars to do something special. Without that connection, you lose creativity and motivation, and you fall into very unprofessional scenarios. I will say this, things needed to be done way differently for this film. We weren't really organized or prepared, and it was difficult to work with some of my co-stars. But when you are creating a film that's centered on Snow White and the Evil Queen, there really needs to be an agreement to act professional and to have that motivated energy. And I didn't really have that, and there are things I really think I shouldn't get into right now, but this was a very difficult production, and for reasons that could have been avoided. I can only hope that other studios can learn a thing or two on who they cast in their films and the teams that they incorporate into their projects. Now, there is no doubt about it that Snow White 2025 is by far one of the worst disasters by the Walt Disney Company that so happens to feature Rachel Zegler.
Snow White wasn't just a flop, it was a full-blown catastrophe dressed in CGI and corporate ego. Disney bet big, pushed ideology over storytelling, and now it's all going up in smoke. A pixelated Minecraft movie bodied it at the box office. Rachel Zegler is publicly unraveling. Gal Gadot is throwing Hollywood shade with sniper precision. And Disney? Scrambling to pretend it's all fine while its golden goose lays a rotten egg. This isn't just a box office fail, it's a Hollywood implosion. And it's time to break it all down. Buckle up. Let's talk numbers, shall we?
I don't know which one is worse at this point for Snow White, the fact that it only garnered $183 million at the box office worldwide, or the fact that it was defeated at the box office by a Minecraft movie.
Because while Disney might be trying to Jedi mind trick everyone with flashy PR, math doesn't lie. Snow White raked in a tragic $183 million globally. A decent haul? Sure, if you ignore the small detail that it cost nearly $400 million to make and market. That's not just red ink, that's a hemorrhage. Worse, the film didn't just underperform, it got destroyed by Minecraft. Yes, Minecraft. The movie equivalent of blocky Legos with no face took a pickaxe to Disney's billion-dollar Princess Reboot and left nothing but dust. Bob Iger's Disney Renaissance? More like Disney's funeral march.
Now, she goes on to allude further, I think those that follow me will be satisfied when I am more comfortable to share more details on the specifics, but for now it's something I feel is not the right time to jump into. I will say this, that the critics out there have valid reasons why they felt disconnected from the material in this version of Snow White. I totally get it on how it shifted away from something so recognizable in pop culture, and that was a serious mistake that could have been easily avoided. I just hope that perhaps one day we can see other stories of Snow White and how that can be explored. That will be quite something to see. But I will never stay silent over things that bother me. We could have done so much better with this story. It was a missed opportunity for sure in certain areas.
Enter Gal Gadot, queen, icon, now unexpected whistleblower. While Zegler was out front and center doubling down on the mess, Gal stayed classy and quiet. Until she didn't. In a series of interviews that felt more like an intervention, Gal politely eviscerated the production. "We weren't prepared," she said. Translation? It was chaos. She threw no direct punches, but every word dripped with subtext. No teamwork. Lack of organization. Hollywood speak for, "This set was a dumpster fire." She might not have dropped names, but the neon arrows were pointing in one direction. Rachel Zegler, queen of controversy. Listen to Zegler beg and blame.
One major development now involves how Rachel Zegler is begging everyone to stop criticizing Snow White and is actually demanding critics to stop sharing their opinions over this film. Now, Zegler delivered the following. I think there is a lot of blame going on right now, especially in this culture where films are always attacked for showcasing world issues. I think the critics are at fault for all of that, quite frankly, and I am urging them right now to stop forcing their politically driven comments to criticize a film that's about a Disney princess. I mean, I just feel that everyone deserves a chance to see this film in theaters, and it most certainly didn't deserve a fair shot at the theaters because of toxic critics. That is just the reality of the situation right now, and I am begging everyone, whether you are a Snow White fan or not, to at least give this film a chance, because it will reshape your worldview and your perception on society, and just how important women are in this industry. The critics need to stop criticizing if they want a film to actually have a natural run and a fair chance of sharing its message with moviegoers. I don't think anyone understands how much you sacrifice as an actress when you have to mold yourself into this character and wearing a costume for hours upon hours. You really do become a different person while you're on set, and it takes something from you, either for better or worse. In its own ways, far too often now that it's 2025, are films getting a bad rep, all because these talented writers and directors want to share their version of an iconic character like Snow White. This film's performance has nothing to do with my politics, but we are rather living in a time when toxic fandom culture is celebrated, and that's the issue at large. And that is something that needs to be carefully examined, I feel. So while Snow White is in theaters, I urge everyone to come into the theater now and experience this for yourself, because it's the chance of a lifetime to see the #1 movie in the world when it comes to how revolutionary this iteration of Snow White really is.
Rachel Zegler didn't just lose the PR game, she flipped the board and accused the audience of cheating. What started as confidence quickly turned to meltdown. She blamed toxic fandoms, politically motivated reviews, and eventually the entire internet. At this point, she's spinning faster than the Disney Plus carousel, trying to salvage this mess. She's publicly begged people to see the film, claimed it's the #1 movie in the world, in an alternate universe, maybe, and said wearing the Snow White dress took something from her. Girl, we all lost something watching this. Mainly brain cells. Is Rachel being unfairly roasted, or is she gaslighting us with extra flair? Drop a comment, slap that like button, and subscribe if you're over Hollywood blaming fans for their failures.
But she goes on to elaborate further by stating further, I think both studios, she says, and moviegoers have become far too obsessed with how much a film makes at the box office. That doesn't really translate to how successful a film is. What matters only now is the story, and how it is a story that finally focuses on female empowerment, and I couldn't be more proud to be a part of this feature that will forever live on.
Let's not dance around it. Gal was working with a disaster crew. 3 full reshoots. That's not creative evolution, that's code red. Reports say the director Mark Webb clashed with Disney. Writers like Greta Gerwig tried to steer the ship, but corporate interference turned it into a rudderless raft. Gal kept it diplomatic, but when she said there was no clear vision, she basically yelled, "This movie was stitched together by a committee of clueless suits." Even the VFX team couldn't keep up because nobody knew what kind of movie they were making. Fairy tale? Feminist manifesto? Bad parody? Spoiler. All of the above, and none of it worked. Ah, yes. The politics. The progressive box ticking. Zegler swears the movie isn't political while blaming politics for the backlash. Classic. The prince? Recast as a morally gray thief. The dwarfs? CGI mutants. The story? Less. Once upon a time. More. Once upon a corporate checklist. Zegler praises the DEI approach. Bob Iger claims they're dialing it back. Meanwhile, audiences are watching a beloved fairy tale get gutted for clout and calling it out in droves. Even Gal admitted it disconnected from the original. That's polite Hollywood for, we completely butchered it and now everyone's mad. Zegler's strategy has now shifted from arrogant to desperate. She's practically pleading with people to watch for the message. Spoiler alert. The message was unclear and expensive. Her latest move? Asking critics to just stop talking. Ma'am, that's not how criticism works. She's crying about the toll the costume took on her, while ignoring the toll the movie took on audiences. This isn't brave. This is bizarre. You can't sell us a mess and act shocked when we say it stinks. Still with us? You clearly love the tea. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep this chaotic train rolling straight into the truth. Disney isn't even pretending anymore. They're rushing Snow White to Disney Plus faster than you can say box office flop. Merch is DOA. Theaters are dropping it like it's radioactive. And Bob Iger is out here giving interviews like he's running for office. Spoiler, no one's buying it. This isn't just a failed film, it's a branding meltdown. Investors are sweating, fans are fuming, and inside the Mouse House, panic mode. Restructuring talks, layoffs, PR lockdowns, and whispers that future projects are now under a giant corporate microscope. While Rachel's in damage control mode, Gal's walking away with her head high and her hands clean. She didn't yell. She didn't rant. She just exposed the dysfunction like a queen and dipped. She warned studios that casting matters. That story matters. That treating your cast and crew with professionalism actually matters. And when she said, "There are things I shouldn't get into," yeah, that's code for I could light this place up, but I'm still cashing those Wonder Woman checks. Rachel Zegler's future? Murky. Disney's credibility? Shot. Gal Gadot? Unbothered. And the fans? Demanding better. If Disney doesn't do a hard course correction, this isn't a one-time faceplant, it's a new trend. Executives are scrambling behind the scenes to figure out what went wrong. But here's the harsh truth. The audience told them exactly what was wrong months ago. They just didn't listen. Snow White won't be remembered as a bold reimagining. It'll be remembered as a $200 million cautionary tale, the cats of its generation, a case study in how not to modernize a classic. Gal Gadot said it best. Hollywood needs to reconnect with fans, with legacy, with basic storytelling. But until that happens, we'll be right here, popcorn in hand, watching it all fall apart in real time. Are you done with woke remakes? Or is this just a bump in the Disney road? Drop your hottest take below. Smash that like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Because if this is what Disney calls the future, the next meltdown is just around the corner.